Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
Open your eyes. Reality is but an illusion.
What
Happening in this
happens to
country.
your little political movements in Afghanistan? To your little political movements holding up the little sign saying, I don't want to wear this really hot burqa in the 100-degree sun, and they come out and head off? How do they do over there? They don't do so good. How come? It's because men allow you to keep those signs up. Men allow you to protest. Men are the ones who give the allowance for you to do anything on planet Earth. And my proof is half of planet Earth, where men said, no, f that. And you know what women can do about it? Nothing. They can't do anything about it.
You wanted to hear about Andrew's philosophy against feminism. Maybe that goes into like force doctrine stuff.
Oh yeah, I wanted to hear about that in particular.
Oh no,
I'm just
not
like,
feminism.
I'm infected with the woke virus, so I need to be enlightened.
With the woke virus.
You're not going to like it.
I need to be enlightened, Andrew. Please help me out.
Yeah, so, well, let's just start with, can I tell you what I think feminism is?
Can you tell me about force doctrine first? Or would you?
Well, I think I need to
let's do
caveat.
feminism
I think I need to caveat it with what I think feminism is. I think feminism is an egalitarian movement which is designed to dismantle patriarchy. That's what I think
So
feminism
like
is.
equal rights kind of thing.
No,
'Cause I
the
would-
egalitarian would match the equal rights, but you're missing the dismantling patriarchy aspect. I think that feminism has a stated goal of dismantling patriarchal systems because it uses a lens of an oppressor-oppressed class. And if you're an oppressed class, who you're oppressed by, well, in the case of all women being oppressed, who else could they be oppressed by except men? And men are the patriarchy.
I mean, when I like think about like feminism and look at today's world, I don't think men are oppressing women, and that the system we live in, especially like legally, is patriarchal. I think there's people with patriarchal ideals.
Then why do we need feminism for?
Well, I mean, when I think of feminism, I just think of like encouraging women to pursue what they want to pursue, whether that's like in a professional space.
Why
in a
would we need
domestic-
So why do we need feminism then?
Because there's a lot of women who maybe feel like they can't, like they,
So
like, they
who's
should
the
do a certain thing.
and who's the oppressor here? Who's oppressing them into
I'm
believing
not
that?
saying anyone's the oppressor.
So then feminism to you is just an advocation that women should just do what they want?
Kind
That's
of.
it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like feminists who say like, oh, we live in such a patriarchy and we're so oppressed, and then there's feminists who say like, who just support women just like pursuing their goals, reaching their fullest potential, and being.
But you don't believe women should strive for all goals, right? Like,
Well-
you can have bad goals that women shouldn't pursue. You would agree with that.
I mean, when it comes to like me evaluating other people's goals, pursue whatever goal you want to pursue, so long as you're not causing active harm to them.
Okay, so you have an active harm principle. So the active harm principle is like, do as thou wilt as long as it harms nobody else. That's impossible though. Because
Directly.
yeah, but this is the problem with the harm principle in general. Is that
Well, most people don't have goals that are harming people. Like most women aren't trying to pursue.
well, I think that people don't generally set out to harm people, but I think that people can have goals that harm people whether they set out
The
to.
goals I'm talking about are personal and professional.
Yeah,
Like
you
this is my
then-
life goal. This is what I want to do. This is my goal.
Would you then consider someone who is putting out content that might be racy, that if a 16-year-old boy came across it, it would be harmful to him?
I could harm him.
yeah, can harm him.
But I mean, also that like pivots into my whole like beliefs on sex work debate. I want to stay focused on that.
Well, okay, so I guess I'll try to make it easy for you. So, I think patriarchy itself is the stated goal of deconstruction from feminism. I do think that they want to deconstruct the patriarchy, and they're trying to move women into egalitarian positions with men, and that's why the patriarchy is deconstructed.
I mean, when I think of feminism, I think of like a broad range of movements. You have like the first wave of feminism, modern feminism.
It's all the
It
same
encompasses a lot of like different degrees of beliefs, which is why I want to hear more about like the whole force doctrine thing.
Well, force doctrine is just advocating that men have a monopoly on force. And so since men have a monopoly on force, women are always going to have to appeal to a patriarchal system to enforce their rights. And so no matter what happens, you end up with circularity. men have the monopoly on force. Women will always have to appeal to men for force. Therefore, it's true feminism and dismantling of patriarchy is never possible because they're always appealing to the patriarchy in order to enforce their rights.
So, I mean, when I hear you say that, what I immediately think is like you're drawing a sort of legitimacy from the fact that men have greater strength, greater capacity for force, and they have the monopoly on force, right?
They do have the legitimacy from your worldview, not mine. But it's your worldview that gives them the legitimacy.
I mean, I'm not the one advocating for force doctrine.
Do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Okay,
So, I mean,
are
I'm
you
not Christian.
You're not a Christian, so what kind of God do you believe in?
I'm Hindu.
You're Hindu. Like practicing Hindu?
Yes. Why is that so funny?
Well, okay, that's
I'm
fine.
just curious, like, why you first.
So, well, because Hinduism and harm reductionism isn't exactly synonymous, which means that you have a different distinction in principle.
I don't like draw my political views based on my religion completely.
Don't you draw your political views from your morals?
Yeah.
Then where do you get your morals except from your religion?
I mean, I don't get all my morals from religion.
Where do you get them from?
I think there's like some sort of like notion of like objective, like universally understood morals that go beyond religion. I also believe in like separation of like.
Well, that's
church
just
and state.
subjective morality. You're just talking about preference. So you get your morals from things you prefer. Like things I prefer are more moral than things
Just
I
like
don't.
how I think people should be treated. Anyways.
Well, that's important. And the reason that that's important that we're figuring out where you draw your morality from.
I would also say I'm not like super devout to where religion's like heavily.
I understand. So then we got preference. But if it just comes down to preference, then every man's preference is equal to your preference. Everybody's preference is. So why is it not legitimate for men to collectivize and utilize force for the purposes of upping their station in society?
And that's what I was going to touch on. Because when you say like, okay, men have a monopoly on force, women need to appeal to men to gain the rights, it's circular. You're like drawing legitimacy for men from their monopoly on force. And when I see you like kind of equate strength and legitimacy, it's like it's kind of a dangerous slippery slope. Because
But
then I think about it this way.
What
Think
other
about it this way.
legitimacy is there?
Listen. I think about it this way. When you draw legitimacy from strength, it's like, okay, could collectively overpower little children.
That's right.
And then it seems to like almost force doctrine to me would seem to justify that. Then you're suddenly justifying every tyrannical invading force throughout history, including
Or-
Russia invading Ukraine, World War II, theism. It's a very
Or you're justifying the opposite. You're justifying the overthrowing of atheism. You're justifying the overthrowing of cults, or justifying the overthrowing of said evil deed. Force doctrine would do both. But that doesn't really negate the fact that what you're doing is you're just always appealing to men again for your rights.
Also,
Always.
when you talk about how men have a monopoly on force, you're talking about like, okay, men are like physically, biologically stronger.
Well,
Because that's like,
look, I'll defer to the IFBB pro, okay? I'm guessing that physically she's one of the, like most females are not stronger than the average male.
But you're talking
but
like-
you may be. But in comparison to IFBB pro males, she's not.
yeah, you're making your.
Most of them are stronger on average, right?
You're saying- you're pointing.
But what I'm saying is that just on average, and it's not minuscule. Like, no offense,
No,
right?
it's
But I'm
legitimate.
guessing that there's hormone replacement and all sorts of things that goes on that assists with you being able to really get jacked the way that you are, right? Okay, for sure. So the thing is like, men are also doing that in the IFBB, and they get much stronger. And it's not a slight distinction in strength. You're talking about, hang on, you're talking about 50 to 75% strength differential. That's fucking huge. That's like fighting with a gorilla. That's like fighting with a gorilla.
I agree.
From a man's perspective.
I agree. Men are collectively a lot, like biologically, physically
Much,
stronger.
much physically stronger
Totally
than the
agree with
average
you.
woman.
What I was gonna say is like when you talk about force
Yeah.
and you think about today, okay, let's say you have a 5'2" woman who has access to military-grade weaponry and a missile program, and then you have a 180-pound, 6-foot, whatever man, super strong, who just has like a handgun. Force today, it can be like remote and can be mechanical, and it's not purely biological. She can physically, using force, overpower him.
And who's in charge? Who's in charge of all of this industry? Builds all these weapons and uses all these uses all these weapons and designs all these weapons.
I mean, women are equally capable of being weapons engineers. I think it's more of an intellectual accomplishment.
How come they're not then?
Because, I mean, throughout history, women had not been encouraged to enter those kinds of spaces. But like, if you put a woman into that field today and a man into that field, I think they could both be perfectly successful at it.
Let me just ask you a question. Have you ever fired a gun?
No,
Never, right?
I've never fired a gun. No.
No. Are you aware that they actually require a decent amount of physical strength to handle properly? Yeah.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the bigger the gun, the more physical strength is required. And the other problem is that you have to carry lots of ammo. And that requires a lot of physical strength. And you have to carry a bunch of gear to feed yourself. And then you have to carry bulletproof vests that you're wearing so that when you get shot, right, you don't
but
die.
I think if you gave
And
me a
hang
gun,
on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the problem is, we know this from hundreds of years of military collected data, not just here, but in every nation on planet Earth, that women consistently have to have the standards lowered for them on average so that they can, in any way, shape, or form, keep up with men in those roles. What that tells us collectively is this: they're not as good in them. Men have a huge advantage in all aspects, including weapons, including drone piloting. They have advantages in just being able to build things quicker. Almost everything about them is designed as the super predator of the earth. Not predatory in the way that they victimize, but predatory in the way that they can quickly kill almost anything they want to with very little resistance from anything that exists. Because of that, I'm sorry, but you're never going to be able to equalize force between a sex that's 50% on average weaker than them, no matter what technological advances you think you're going to make.
but it is the case that in that scenario, a woman could physically, using that kind of force, overpower a man.
It is hypothetically.
If you're talking about the highest grade of
It could be hypothetically, like I'm willing to grant that you can have a logical possibility where women have like a fucking dystopian technological future where they invent all of the technology and enforce all of the right through machinery. Okay, I'm willing to grant that. But the thing is like, that's not going to happen. And it's not the case now, and it's not going to be the case in our lifetime, or the lifetime of your mom, or your mom's mom, or even your mom's mom. So right now, at least, the case is that you have to appeal to men for force. And so feminism as a dismantling of patriarchy is not possible because you're appealing to the very thing you're trying to dismantle always to dismantle it.
But it's also interesting because when I think about political movements throughout history in this country that have been super effective, they've done so through social organization, protest, political pressure, cultural influence, things that have nothing to do with force. Because like those are appealing to the government, the people in power. Those cases,
And
like,
what does the government use?
the government has access to force, but these movements have still been successful.
Because men have allowed them to be. But in places where men don't allow them to be, they're not. Can I give you the entirety of the Middle East and Asia? What happens to your little political movements there?
Well, I'm talking about what's
What
happened in this
happens
country.
to your little political movements in Afghanistan? Do your little political movements with the holding of the little sign saying, I don't want to wear this
So
really
do you-
hot f***ing burqa in the 100-degree sun, and they come out and their f***ing head off? How do they do over there? They don't do so good. How come? It's because men allow you to keep those signs up. Men allow you to protest. Men are the ones who give the allowance for you to do f***ing anything on planet Earth. And
But
my proof is half of planet Earth where men said, no, f*** that. And you know what women can do about it? Nothing. They can't do anything about it.
But in the democratic country we live in, those are valid
All relying
tools
on
that
men.
can
All relying on
create
men allowing you to have a
lot of
democracy.
valid change.
Right. I think you're thinking that women were able to get rights to vote just because of their protest, but no, it's actually because they needed votes since so many men were at war or dying in war. Like women weren't allowed to vote until
I'm
that
also
point
just curious
where they
then,
needed
at
votes.
that
Wait,
point,
hold on. Let her finish. Go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah, women just weren't allowed to like be educated or vote until like the men decided we need women to enter the economy. We need women to enter the voting pool so we can win more because men are dying in these wars. of
See,
the
there's a lot of
1900s.
truth to that with what industrialization did and industrialists did with wanting to get women to have cheaper labor enter into the workforce. But ultimately, the interesting part here is that all of this just proves force doctrine. The truth is that if men collectivize for rights, they can get them because we can kill other men. We have a monopoly on force. We can kill men. We can take our rights. Let me give you the Revolutionary War as an example of this. We don't like our conditions, we'll kill you and make new conditions. That's what men are capable of doing. In the historic record, when I looked, I never found, not one time, a single instance of women being able to collectivize and use force to take anything from men. Ever. I've never once found it, and I looked hard. I want to see if there was even one example. There's not one. Can you think of a single time ever in history, the history that you know about, where women have collectivized and used force to take anything from men?
Not force.
And so if that's the case and men have a monopoly on force, you're always going to have to appeal to them to not use it on you. Because here's the dirty truth, and it's brutal, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to lie to you. Because I have the standard of half the world to look at, I know that if men collectivize in the West and decide to put women in little cages, there's not a shit they can do about it. So they really have to appeal to the benevolence of men, and all they do is demonize them, and that's fucking crazy to me.
So I mean, again, like when I mentioned earlier how that kind of justifies like any tyrannical invading force, do you think
There's not a justification, it's a descriptor.
The less powerful party in that situation should just appease to the oppressor or the invading force?
The thing is that you're gonna. Well, here's the thing. Let me ask you this: if you have somebody who's larger than you are, right, and can beat you up, do you talk to them? Why not?
So they don't beat me
Yeah,
up.
they don't beat you up, right?
But there should still be some kind
Hang
of...
on, hang on. Is that a form of appeasement?
Well, I just distance myself from this person.
So it's not a form of appeasement?
third
Hang on,
party
hang on.
witnessing-
Answer the question I asked first. Is it a form of appeasement when someone's much larger than you, so you don't talk to them because you don't want to get beat up? Is that appeasing?
I mean, you're not really doing anything.
Right. It's not appeasement then.
Sure.
So when we're talking about this, it's not appeasement
If you
either.
bring in a third party in that situation, I think they have a responsibility to call out the person who's...
Well, I think that the case is that if you aggravate the sex who is responsible for your fucking rights and then they take them away, well, that's just like going up to the 6'4" guy as me, right, who's 280 pounds and going, "Fuck you, I'm going to do what I want," and then when he smashes my face, does it matter if I give him my moral objection? If I'm like, that's really immoral that you just did that, he's going to be, "Oh, that's nice." They don't give a about my moral objection. They're going to put my head in. And the thing is like, okay, since that's an objective reality, the objective reality here for women is exactly the same. If you decide to continue the agitation of men, if women collectively do that, men are capable of taking everything from women, and the reverse isn't true.
When I think about what you're saying in the context of the world we live in today, a society that's advanced a lot more than that intellectually is not just this caveman primitive, I beat you up, you listen to me, you appease to me kind of way. Because it's very Stone Age actually. It's very interesting.
It's funny to me that
It's like this weird appeal to nature.
the problem that you have is you have what's called a normalcy bias. See, you were raised in this world, and in this world, the one that you currently live in, it is the case that we're all very civil to each other, we're all very nice, and we're governed by laws, and we're governed by this, and we're governed by that. And if there's a zombie apocalypse tomorrow, the misogynist who's down the road, who's the fucking gun holder with the bunker, will be bashing on his fucking door, saying, "Please let me in, this is crazy, what do I do?" And I don't blame you for that, because I'm going to do the same. I'm going to run over and be like, "What the f*** do I do, man? There's zombies everywhere. This is crazy." When the curtain goes down. Society right now, the benefits that women have are incredible, and you have no idea how beneficial it is to you, how good men really are to keep a society like this going. They're extraordinarily benevolent in what they do. It's insane. And to think that, like, we can look at half the world where they are technologically advanced in China. Okay? Yes, they are. I mean, they're almost surpassing us as a superpower. They're super advanced in Japan. They're super advanced in the Middle East and many of the nations. And they go like that, and women have no rights. And so it's like...
Wait, at that point, why do you even gender force doctrine? Like, shouldn't you suddenly exclude every, like, disabled, elderly, or frail man and include every super strong, buff woman?
Well, we're talking...
Just make it based on strength at that point.
Yeah, do you understand, though, what collective force would mean between the sexes? So, collective force between sexes actually means something. Like, a 50-year-old man is still very fucking dangerous to a 20-year-old woman who's strong. To a 20-year-old woman who's strong, a 60-year-old man is still a significant threat to them.
I mean, it could be the case that if...
And
Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
Open your eyes. Reality is but an illusion.
I tend to lost souls, like a shepherd tends to his flock.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
I am happy you are here, Susan. You have been a true friend since I first emerged from my cocoon.
You've certainly come a long way since the Enclave created you, Adam.
They meant to use me as a pawn in their own wicked schemes. But I had a much higher calling.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Today we fight as allies. Do not give me reason to alter that arrangement.
I feel better already. Some assistance, enemies on approach. Healing power.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. The mission area is yours. Anyone willing to help? Be proud of what you did here.
The cosmos heals you. Your souls unite. I am at your service. Step closer to saving the world. I feel better already. You are safe now, my friend. Healing power. Spiders, watch your step. The cosmos heals you. I am at your service.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Quantum magic.
I've got your back.
They shall not escape our wrath now.
The cosmos heals you.
Anyone willing to help?
Your souls unite. I require some aid. What the doctor ordered. Quantum magic.
Glory is almost yours.
I am at your service.
Born again!
Healing power.
Hell unleashed!
Second chances over. I will bring peace to this universe.
Open. When science failed me, magic was there.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
You're here? Good thing I replaced most of the metal components in my armor with carbon nanotubes a while back.
A single copper wire is all I need to strangle you, Stark. Should I choose to do so?
Oh, yeah, right. Remind me whose side you're on again.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
I gotta admit, it's fun getting in the lab and coming up with new arrowheads.
so many spiders since... Never mind. The spider nest is no more.
Do not expect me to do that again.
A little help, please.
My body is rejuvenated.
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Leave me, darkness!
Hell unleashed! Another epic victory! Big win!
This is a Tax the Rich rally in New York City, ran by the
I'm going to watch this video about the Epstein files because honestly, with the way people are talking about the Epstein files, I just want to make sure that I'm not on it. I want to make sure that like XQC and Asmongold aren't on this shit. So let's just double check. All right? Let's just make sure Hassan and Kaya aren't on this shit. The Epstein files is kind of going insane. I don't know how there was like 3 million new docs that dropped, and apparently like Jeffrey Epstein wanted to have sex with Freddy Fazbear, and he loved anime Yuri porn. Like what timeline are we living in where just everybody's a pedophile rapist? Like where are we at? Anyways, let's see what the fuck's going on here.
Just dropped 3.5 million files, and it is incredible. Huge bombshells about some of the most powerful people on the planet.
Guys, tell me Donald Trump and Elon Musk are not on the Epstein file. Tell me, there's no way. Bill Clinton, I can believe. Stephen Hawking, we're pushing it. And to be fair, to have Stephen Hawking is the guy in the fucking chair, right? That's not the author. No, that's Stephen King. Stephen Hawking might have been on Epstein Island, but maybe he was like an autopilot and he like didn't know where he was going. Yeah, you know, so the jury's still out. Let's actually see what the fuck's going on here.
I can't believe they let some of this stuff out. I mean, it is stunning. Honestly, one of the biggest lies we've seen is the idea that the FBI could possibly come to us and say, not only is there not a client list, there was no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. Guys, we're about to see planned blackmail to one of the most powerful people on the planet, and that is Bill Gates. Listen, there's a lot more, but we have to start with probably the craziest revelation here, which is Jeffrey Epstein emailing himself about Bill Gates. Now, if you don't know, Bill Gates and Epstein had a relationship post 2008. That's a big year. You're going to hear
like relationship is in like sex, or they were friends.
Hear a lot today. Because 2008 was the time that Epstein pled guilty for soliciting of somebody under the age of 18. He was a predator at this point. Everybody knew it. Now, eventually, Bill Gates would get divorced when all of this came out. Melinda Gates said it was part of the direct cause for the divorce. She said she met Epstein and said he was evil.
I would say fucking a kid is a pretty reasonable ground to get a divorce. So I'm going to say W to that woman. I feel like that's pretty fair.
He was evil personified.
So you have to understand, this is like Bill Gates' kryptonite. He's one of the richest men on the planet. He's got this huge philanthropy arm. But this relationship with Epstein has been a huge problem for him. And Epstein appears to have known that because in 2013, Bill Gates appears to be distancing himself from Jeffrey Epstein.
Uh-oh.
And Epstein seems to have a problem with that. He says, I assume the dedication to our relation went both ways. Larry has now asked me to recommit to a confidentiality agreement. Basically, he's got to shut up about his relationship with Bill Gates. And this is where the blackmail starts. It comes in the form of like, if I were you, I would do X. If I were the type of guy that you should be. He says, in that regard, I suggest I buy you the house that you had your heart set on. In addition to 5 years of severance, we'll buy you out of the investment contract we agreed upon, 30 to 40%, a $100 million partnership for $30 million in today's terms. That's what I would have done had I been in your shoes. Then he lays out what he has on Bill Gates, or what he says he has. Quote, to add insult to injury, you subsequently, with tears in your eyes, implore me to delete the emails I had regarding your STD. Your request that I provide you antibiotics that you could surreptitiously give to Melinda. And the description of your... I mean, this is insane. It's completely insane. It's like basically laying out in text form.
Guys, I'm going to give a hot take to all the very powerful people on this earth. I think women are way hotter when they're above the age of 20. Yep, I'll say it. I know. Hot take to Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and Jeffrey Epstein. I think women are way hotter when they're above 20.
I would give me millions of dollars, and I can't believe you're asking me to delete the message where you were going to give STD medication to your wife.
Uh-oh.
Without her knowledge. I mean, it's complete.
That's crazy.
It's just completely obvious what he's doing here. It's just a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Here's what you should do. But now that coming out after Epstein's death, this looks really bad for Gates, obviously, because you usually wouldn't blackmail somebody for something that's completely false or fake. I mean, maybe he did that. But we also know Bill Gates had affairs. Obviously, Melinda credits it for their divorce. So it's hard to believe there was nothing sketchy going on. Bill Gates, of course, maintains that it was completely above board. He says the fact this allegation was in here just shows how much Epstein was willing to defame people. But Epstein lays it out. He says he helped Bill get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls, facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, and to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments. Look, guys, this is exactly what we suspected the whole time. Epstein was providing services to rich people.
Yeah, but what if Epstein was actually just some fucking psycho nut that just lied? Has anybody ever considered that? What if Epstein was just lying for, like, blackmail? Just to make sure that nobody snitched on him? I don't know, bro. I can see a lot of angles of this right now. You know, I'm not really going to doubt that the child fucker might have also lied. So, I'm at least willing to hear people out with their defense, but we'll see.
And expecting payment via blackmail, you might say. And it's true that we don't know that Epstein ultimately sent that version of an email to Gates. All we know is he sent that to himself. He may have planned the blackmail and just been drafting something. But what we do know are two things. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Gates was threatened by Epstein over an affair. We also know that after this blackmail email Jeffrey sent to himself was written, eventually Gates sent a $2 million donation to MIT directed by Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, that's pretty bad. Oh no! Okay, I will say that does look pretty bad.
Which is a bit weird if you had distanced yourself from the guy and y'all had this big falling out. Now again, do we know for sure that Bill Gates did all of that? No, of course not. But do I think Bill Gates was innocently looking for charity advice from a after he already pled guilty? No, I don't. I'm sorry, I'm not that gullible. And speaking of not that gullible, we've been lied to also by another richest guy on the planet. Jeez, it's a shock why they don't want to put this out.
Elon, I'd have your back, man, but I'm gonna be real, bro. I asked for a Tesla and you wouldn't fucking give me one. So I had to buy a Tesla with my own fucking money, bro. You are a piece of shit. What? Hey. You should have hooked me up with that fucking Cybertruck, buddy.
Musk, who has been saying for years that it is a lie that he went to Epstein's Island. In fact, he says he refused to go. From Elon, he says, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island. I refused. He says anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. Later responding to another headline which said Elon Musk planned trip to Epstein's private island, and he says this is false. But of course, we start to dig through the files, and we can see on Epstein's calendar that Elon Musk is booked in December 6th of 2014. But maybe you don't believe that. That's just the word of Jeffrey Epstein. But maybe you'll believe the word of Elon Musk, who was caught emailing Jeffrey Epstein to go to his island post the guilty plea. Elon Musk.
Oh my god. Bro. Holy fucking caught in 8K. Bro. Elon, you should have just gave me a fucking Cybertruck, bro. I can't sweep for you anymore, man. I can't sweep. No more sweeping. No more sweeping for Elon Musk, bro. Oh, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Writes, will be in BVI St. Large area over the holidays. Good time to visit. Jeffrey Epstein says, I will send a heli for you.
Oh.
Later, Elon Musk writes to Epstein, probably just to Lula and me, his ex-wife, what day and night would be the wildest party on your island? The world's richest man is asking the most vile man for the wildest party on his island. And then it gets...
By the way, was there confirmation that these emails are real? I just want to, does anybody know? Are these emails confirmed to be real? I'll look into them more. I'm going to operate under the pretense that these are real currently. I'm going to look into this more.
For explicit. In 2012, remember, this is the guy who said, I refused it. I could never do that, right? It's false. But here in 2012, he says, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of my sanity this year. I really want to hit the party scene in St. Barth or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. Guys, he can't even play the I went to go study math excuse, which is what all these guys do. They say, hey, I just went to go talk to scientists. Elon's like, hey, I don't want to do that. I'm looking for a party. That's what I'm here to do. And then Jeffrey...
Hey, man, I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's a pretty bad look to look for a party on Pedophile Island, bro. That's not good, bro. That's rough. Hey. That is not a good look.
Epstein, right. Understood.
And I have a feeling these aren't pizza parties.
I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make your ex-wife uncomfortable. I can't believe these guys are lying to us, and people are swallowing it still, thinking that Elon Musk had nothing to do with this guy. So again, that's 2012. That's 2014. But guess what? There's another time in 2013. I mean, this seems like a yearly thing with the bull. Here, once again, Elon Musk writes, we'll be in the BVI St. Barth area over the holidays. Again, is there a good time to visit? Jeffrey Epstein, any day, 1st of the 8th, play it by ear if you want, always space for you. They then plan some more, and you might think, well, if Elon ever told the truth, this is when he has to reject, right? Because he said, I refused. But actually, it appears to be one of those cases where, like, your friend says, like, oh, bro, I dumped her. And actually, it was the other way. Yeah, it turns out Elon didn't dump the the dumped Elon.
Oh, no! Damn, bro, you got rejected by the fucking Prince pedophile? Holy shit. Bro wasn't even cool enough to fuck. Well, I was going to say something crazy. That would have been a bad clip. Nah, that's crazy, bro. Bro is too autistic to be invited to the island, bro. A